one part is done of your advanced web programming. Now we are moving further to next part of your advanced web programming, that is your unit number 2. So in that particularly, we are going to study about web form fundamental, how one can develop web-based applications or web form fundamentals, what kind of tools is required for creating an web applications. So we are just referring that anatomy of an ASP.NET application, how it is developed, what is required for developing an ASP.NET application. So before starting that, what is an ASP.NET? It stands for Active Server Page. ASP stands for Active Server Page. So in ASP.NET is your basically server side technology or mechanism by which you can develop your applications. Now this diagram is very important for showing this anatomy of your ASP.NET applications. Just have a quick look. What it is given, they have provided IIS web server. Then we have several application domains. So this domain can contain web pages or configuration files. Web services are there. Applications and session data are there. Now when I say I have to develop a web page, so it is not a single thing that must be included in my application. So it requires lots of stuff like your configuration files, then web pages, then contents of that web pages. There are several master pages and then content pages are there. Then it requires lots of application and session data. Then we had configuration files, then we have web services, then we have web pages and so on. So this is your anatomy of your ASP.NET applications. Now, what kind of file types it produces? Remember this thing. This is very important thing to remember. Which file is of which kind. So I'm just simply highlighting this full name or file name. See, first extension is .aspx. This is your ASP.NET web pages. Remember. Hello. First is ASP.NET exe, ASP.NET, ASPX. That is your ASP.NET web pages. Second is .ascx. That will be your user control. What is an user control? This is a custom control that can be contained or developed by your users. Then we have web.config. This is a web configuration file. It holds all the settings that is stored inside your an application. Then we have global.asx file. This is a global level application file. It is single for an application. It's not like you are having global.asx file, two global.asx file for one application. And last is your ends with .cs. So that is your code behind file that contains your C# code. So I hope this is clear. I'm just highlighting this much part so you can get a clear picture. So in global.asx, global level variables and global level events are stored. I'm just highlighting this much part. So web.configuration file, it includes a setting for customizing security, state management, memory management and much more. So this file is very important aspect of your ASP.NET web applications, web.config. These are ASP.NET user controls, and user controls are similar to web pages, except that the user can't access files directly, except these files directly. This ASP.NET web pages that contain user interface and optionally the underlying application code. So make a note of this. What kind of extensions ASP.NET application provides? First is .aspx, that is your ASP.NET web pages. Then we have .ascx, that we have is ascx. Second is .web.config, sorry. Third is web.config, that is your configuration file. It can be stored for all setting of customizing security. Then we have state management, or we have memory management, and many more things. Then we have global.asx. It is a global application file. You can use this file to define a global variables and store this global variables across your web application. And last is your scripting file or code behind file that ends with your .cs code. That ends with your .cs code. Now, what are the folders of ASP.NET? So folders you can have, lots of folders are there. First is app browsers. Second is app code. Then we have app global resources, app.local resources. Then we have app.web references. Then we have app_data. Then we have app_themes. Then we have bin file. What is bin? Binary input. Now, these are the directories that stores or holds your ASP.NET application data. Now we are referring to each one of these one by one. First is app_browser. This directory contains browser files that ASP.NET uses to identify the browser that are using your application and determine their capability. Now next is app_code. It contains your actual source code files that are dynamically compiled for use in your application. Next is app_global resources. It stores your global resources like your global.asx files. Then we have local resources. It serves the same purpose, except these resources are accessible to specific page only. Then we have web references. Suppose we are using some references, external references over the internet for your application. Then this, suppose I am including an image in my application, or any audio or video for my application. So that web references is stored inside that web references directory. Then we have app_data. It stores the data including SQL Server Express database that we are going to study in ADO.NET. Now, next is your bin. Bin is your basically binary files it contains. No, sorry, I missed app_themes. So see, themes plays an important role for designing purpose. I'm sure that you are using lots of themes for your mobiles also. So well designed themes. So this standardized formatting of your themes is stored under app_theme. Then we have bin, that is a binary input. All compile .NET component web application it stores. Done with this. Now server controls are there. See, basically ASP.NET provides two kind of server controls. First is HTML server control and other is web controls. First is HTML server controls, in which you'll be using lots of HTML tags, standard HTML tags that can control with your ASP.NET application. And other is your web controls, which is similar to HTML server controls, but they provide a rich object model with the variety of properties in comparison to your HTML server controls in terms of style and formatting details. Just have a quick look of this HTML server control and web controls. What kind of HTML server control it provides, and what are the benefits or key features it provides? It basically provides the three key features. First is they generate their own interface. Second is they retain their state no matter what you are using and what kind of application you are compiling or running. So they retain their states. Whatever you are designing in HTML server control, it remains as an HTML server code. It's not going to change. They fire server-side events. So you can use this HTML server control with your ASP.NET server controls. So they can fire server-side events, as we have already discussed in today's lecture itself, that your ASP.NET is your server side technology or scripting things. Then you can convert an HTML page to ASP.NET web pages. So this is a design view. So you require code behind a file for this kind of applications to run. So see, one example is given of HTML5. So this HTML is basic thing. Now this form method is very important. What we are doing is we are just posting that form. Then div tag is there. Convert @NBSP. It is used for non-breaking space to avoid non-breaking spaces. Then we have input type equal to text. Text is basically your this text box. Then we have break. So this is your designing part only. So it will be redirected to your post method. Whatever form you are redirecting, it will be redirected. So this is a practical implementation. So this is another file. This is your HTML, ASP.NET Server 5. Code file is provided currency control.asp.cs. Now see, this is having extension of .cs. It is having an extension of .cs and it inherits this current namespace currency converter. So this is your actual code. Now this is very important thing, view state. See, view plays a very important role, whether you are viewing the screen or viewing anything. So that view state has to be enabled. So it's not like I am you are seeing this or viewing the screen because I have made it enabled. Now what if I'm just changing the focus of the screen to whiteboard? Now you are able to see that PDF portrait or PDF version of that ASP.NET. Just raise your hand or just type in chat box whether you are able to see that PDF. You are simply viewing this whiteboard. No, so you are not allowed to see that. Now I'm just making this PDF enable again. So this is view state. Basically you have to enable that view state property by setting that view state equal to enable, so it can be viewable from outside references. Now you have HTML control classes. This is very simple things. Just see these class names and their elements that can be done. So we'll be see this one by one. Don't worry. So this HTML form, HTML class name is HTML form. See, this class names supports and helps to use your HTML elements with your ASP.NET server controls. So basically, a class control, server control class is provided for your HTML elements. So for HTML form, it is provided form element is provided. Then we have HTML anchor. Then we have HTML anchor. It is used for anchor tag. Basically, anchor tag is used for giving any hyperlink. So I hope that your HTML basic is clear. I'm pre-assuming that your HTML basic is clear. Then for image, we have HTML image. You just have to add that word HTML in front of this elements, table row. But remember this case, uppercase and lowercase. So you can have a quick look over this server control classes provided by HTML over this ASP.NET application. So fine. HTML input hidden, HTML select, HTML head, generic control and all. Now, this is very important properties. Just make a note of this. HTML anchor is used for properties. They are using href and target. In HTML image, we are using src, alt, width and height. In HTML input checkbox and input radio button, we are using checked. It is just showing its properties. Then we have HTML input text. It shows its value. Then we have HTML text area. We have value. Then we have HTML input image that contains src and alt. Then we have HTML select. It has items into bracket collection. Then we have HTML generic control. inner text and inner HTML. Done with this, these properties can be used with for HTML control. So one code is there in this PDF of currency converter. So basically, when we are discussing this, we using C. We have already discussed in previous lecture why we use using statement for importing namespaces. Then what are the partial classes and how it can be declared using this with the help of this partial keywords. Now, this is very important thing, event handling. Whatever events you are producing on this web pages, so that needs to be handled. Whether it is on server change, on mouse click, on keyboard or key play press, different kind of events it produces and it needs to be handled. Now this is a scenario by which your ASP.NET application produces an output or redirected to your web page. So web request is there. Is the file is registered to ASP.NET? Yes. ASP.NET will produce its engine. It is known as ASP.NET engine. Has the application instance been created? Yes. Then it will again proceed further. Then has the application instance been created? No instance change. Then we have to initialize and take an initiate to or instantiate that application. Create global level variables and fire global events. Has requested page compile? If yes, it will redirect to our next part. Then, or we have to consider and compile that pages. Done with this, then it is quite often that while compiling any application in any programming language, you will get several errors. It is quite common though, you'll receive several errors. So this errors needs to be handled or needs to be thrown. So there is a concept called exception handling. I hope you remember in some of the programming languages like in Python or Java or C++ or C. C++ doesn't provide that mechanism of exception handling explicitly. Java and Python provides with the help of exception class. So this errors needs to be handled. So dealing with error is very important thing. Unless and until you are able to know your errors, you are not going to succeed as a programmer, and you are not able to achieve the desired output you are intended for your program. Done with this. Enough of this. We're just changing the slide, sharing a new screen. I hope this screen is properly visible because it is coded in dark color. Contents are simple, introduction, static, and web pages. Now, whenever I say this web pages or developing a web pages, they require or they contains static and dynamic web pages. Static means it is for a simple use and it remains as it is. Dynamic web pages are web pages that can be linked during runtime also. Then we have client issues a request using HTTP protocol. Now remember one thing, whenever there is a discussion or there is a talk of server side servers or server side programming or scripting, we have to take into consideration this important protocol, that is your HTTP protocol. Then we have server response, the message packet containing HTML, and web browser contains your HTML code. and web pages. So this is a hierarchy or architecture by which a client can request to a server. HTTP gets a request through its browser, and server gets it's from internet. Then server will decide whether it is a valid request or not, and then server will respond to your client using this HTTP response and HTML document. Done with this, I hope it is clear. Client will request something to server with the help of your browser or internet. Then server will identify whether that request is valid or not and produces your proper output. Done with this, I hope it is clear. Just note it down, difference between static and dynamic web pages. As I said, static web pages are in the same response to every request from a client to server. But in case of dynamic pages, they can change depending on data set from client to the personal for the user based on cookies, which are installed on the client computer. Done with this. For example, it's given we can create a static web page to display times of movies and cinema. So one URL is given, or you can create a dynamic pages when we are referring e-cart solutions or e-commerce website like Amazon and Flipkart or other things. When user clicks or simply clicks on any product for viewing that product, so you are redirected to dynamic web pages. The static web pages mostly contain HTML code. Just have a quick look. Done with this. I hope it is clear. These are dynamic pages. You can see here we have lots of code behind. It's your .cs code. Now how ASP.NET works basically, as we have already discussed, it has several extensions like your ASP.NET, .aspx, .ascx, your what to say web.config is there. Then we have global.asx file. How ASP.NET works actually? Web servers, ASP.NET web page derived, manage an ASPX file and .cs file. See, CF file is often referred as a code behind file that can be used with your ASP.NET web applications. Remember that things. Done with this, just have a quick look. Done with this. Now, how it works, web server basically, when a page derived manage object redirected with the help of HTML through ASP.NET, then it produces HTML to the client. Then client will revert from server. Make a note of this. Browser client can browse to a certain web page over internet. Then it is redirected to web server. Then web server actually does the following procedure by determining whether that code is managed or unmanaged. What is the difference between unmanaged and managed code? So I will tell you later on. So browser request and postback data is this. Now there is a concept called auto postback and each postback. For this server kind of stuff, if auto postback is when you are clicking on a certain web application and you are redirected. If your auto postback is on, then you will be redirected to the some of the other web pages. If it is off, you will be kept on the same web page. for a longer period of time. So waveform programming is very important thing. So this control and description make note. Control is ad rotator. Basically, it is used for rotating your ad over your screen. Ad rotating banner. Then we have button. Implements a button for web user interface. Then we have calendar, checkbox, data grid, hyperlink, image, label, link button, list control panel, table, text box, range validator, and so on. So you can use n number of web controls for your web-based applications. Done with this, kindly raise your hand. Okay. Done with this, okay, not an issue. Now, moving further, you can simply use this waveform. Visual Developer you can use. So this is an overview of your .NET framework inside your Visual Studio. This version, I guess, 2008 or 2010. It's an old version. So currently we are using 2017 or 2019 is also available. You can use any version. I don't mind as long as you're performing these programs. So unfortunately, we don't have your Visual Studio installed on this PC. So some of the day, I'll try to install that and show that demonstration to you after I get that code file or that setup file. Visual Developer is there, all code files. So you can create your custom controls or you can simply drag and drop. So on left hand side, if it is visible properly, then you can see this toolbox provides lots of components that can be used for designing and developing this web application or form. Then moving further, this is your .aspx file. It actually contains your design level components, and this .aspx.cx file contains your code behind. So validation controls can be done. So it's enough for a day.